Girls, welcome back to Black Ice 2026 After Action Report, Germany. Normal difficulty historical units. That is the settings. The date is 15th of September 1941, and Operation Barbarossa has been launched and it's been going on for around 3-4 months into the operation. Here we are with just gonna give you some background music to enjoy while we talk. So the Pripyat marshes pocket that is almost always in my games created. I eliminated the eastern part around Hommel, and these orange troops, they're garrison infantry brigades, so they only contain 3 infantry and 2 artillery, so they're really small units, holding units. And then we have a couple of axis miners. So this is really not holding down any large formations. It looks like I'm having more German troops than I actually have. They're like a third of an infantry division here. So I'm slowly decimating this, and I've been bombing it and infra and logistical striking these units. So you can see their morale is rather low. If that is because of my bombing or because of the out of supply, I don't know. But anyways, I'm slowly working on that and hope to be able to finish it before the onset of winter. So that is pretty normal, and yeah, I'm playing a bit loosey-goosey here with manpower losses this turnaround. On the Atlantic, we don't see many convoy losses because I think UK ran out of convoys. I'm not gonna mess around with that. In the Mediterranean, nothing is happening. Nothing. Britain with low org and bad supply sitting in El Alamein. I have my 6 tank divisions sitting back at Tobruk waiting for them to advance so I can envelop them, but they won't advance. Iraq has been overwhelmed. That's it. I have deployed my marine divisions after they're finished their task on the Eastern Front to threaten Malta and Crete. But there's really, since the Italian Navy is gone. Wait, here's a Russian battleship out here. Okay, that's fun. I have my training army, the Green Special Operational Force, training in France in case there's an AI landing here. At least I have some half-trained troops in France. And the Blue Army is the same garrison brigades sitting in the ports. The Danish army is quite large. I don't know if there is no easy way to click an army and see how large it is, isn't it? But I'm surprised Denmark as a puppet in Black Ice is this efficient. Finland is in the war, and I've seen quite a lot of fighting going on. So what happened on the Eastern Front? Same as always. I just encircle and avoid, do the blitzkrieg thing and avoid opposition and try to encircle and sneak my way. Supply is bad, and the further in you go. But in the north, I managed to land in Riga and Tallinn, and then I didn't have to land in... I landed once, amphibiously assaulted Leningrad, but it failed. But by that time, panzers had reached the outskirts of Leningrad, surrounded it, and captured it. So that was one of the first places that fell. It always goes a bit slow around Minsk because of the forest and the forts here. You have to encircle it and reduce it. And then you come to 2 large cities, Vitebsk and Smolensk, and yada yada, and you run out of supplies. So that's been slow going. But now he kind of teleported away a lot of troops on this part of the section. Well, the entire northern front here. You can see there's a huge hole in the Soviet AI line here. And my Hungarian and Romanian allies are advancing, and I'm just following up. I have a thin line of 1 infantry division in each province here, so this is basically a holding line. I need to reinforce this by the winter when the AI scripted mega winter offensive is gonna grind me down to tears. So let's not attack there. Alright, so, and I guess I'm getting across here I'm gonna try to grab Kalinin. Supply is gonna get horrible here. There's no way. First off, where's the supply depot in Kalinin? Second, okay, I guess if I capture these two provinces here, and then I will be able to. Okay, supply is gonna go through Velikiluki, through this very, very thin line of rail here, into this province, and then to Rzhev, then up almost to into Moscow, and then back around up to Kalinin. Supply into Kalinin is horrible. It's really hard. So I'm not even sure I want to capture it. Maybe I'll take it and then fall back or something. All right. Moscow is very difficult to conquer. You can see the supply situation. That makes it almost very, very difficult. If you hold down, is it shift? Yeah, shift. You can see how far a supply depot can send. And even if this motorization level here says that it increases range, even if I increase, the range remains the same. So at least it's shown range. I don't know how this works. I need to study on the motorization level. Let me know in the comments if you know. To increase the range and supply provided by a supply hub, consider using the upgrade railways command or changing the motorization level. So I would expect to be able to send supply further from Smolensk towards Moscow, but nope, can't do that. I guess we should, but see how little supply is used from Smolensk, and Smolensk should supply all these troops here. So I'm starving outside Moscow, and that is what makes it so hard. Terrain and troops, obviously, as well. So let's not suicide you guy there. I don't know why he's crossing the river. Okay, Smolensk, Moscow, I hope to take it before winter, but it always looks really shady. I guess I'm a bit early, middle of September. I have more or less a month or so before the weather gets bad, so maybe I can make some more progress. Better news is on the center of the front, let's say Voronezh and Tula, Army Group Center. I made one small encirclement here, and I think I'm gonna be able to grab some more here because I have my elite panzers here, and another rather large pocket here, maybe 10 divisions or so. And talking about pockets and encirclements, so the Soviet losses now is up to 2.5 million. I've been doing quite a lot of encirclements, and remember, I'm gonna kill off a couple of more troops here, and my losses are in Russia 113,000. So I would say this is kind of decent. I maybe could be better. I was checking a bit of the material losses this playthrough here, and so I lost 159,000 equipment. Okay, I lost 500,000 of manpower the last 12 months. I don't understand. Okay, so this is that the entire Axis faction? That could be it, because it doesn't compute with my. I haven't even lost close to that amount in total. Okay, so maybe if you check the entire Axis faction, 700k, these 500k here is the entire Axis faction. And maybe this equipment here, yeah, that could be it, because if you do the detail list, you find a lot of stuff that I'm like, I'm not using that stuff. Is that Italy you're losing that stuff? But it's really hard to get an overview of your losses in Hearts of Iron 4 in general. I wish I could just have a pop-up, a spreadsheet where you could see, this is your entire total losses of fighters. But you really can't. I mean, as far as I understand, the way they want you to do it is you like go into a province here. Here's a killing ground, and you put up details, and you can see here like days. Okay, that's really good. 100 fighters lost to 1,000 Soviet airplanes. If I click months, we lost less. The losses report system is hard, so that's why it's hard for me to say how successful. It's just more of a hunch how successful an Operation Barbarossa is or not. I think it's been okay. I'm still at 60k manpower. Because now I'm building recruitment centers, and I'm researching the industrial techs that gives you a little bit of manpower. So I'm just living hand to mouth. Right, talking about that size of an army, I still have 400k in training queue. Sorry, 300. And my army is now up to 2.7. So I'm going to end up above 3 million. That will be nice for the winter offensive. They're going to stand there and bleed from attrition, whether the Soviet AI attacks or not. It's going to be very expensive. My stockpiles are, except trucks and jeeps and mountain warfare and infantry guns, is in the green. There has been playthroughs where I've been, my infantry troops have been starving, but I haven't given away as much Lend-Lease and yada yada. So I guess my army in the east so far in mid-September is in decent shape. Further south of Voronezh, I'm not performing any offensive operations. So basically what you see here, Voronezh down to Stalingrad, is just a thin holding line of one infantry division per province. Of course, my Axis satellite puppets reinforce me a little bit. So it's just because supply is really bad. Well, it's catching up now. So I guess I'm gonna try to sneak up here towards Stalingrad and see if I can grab. Sometimes they leave it open. The AI is pretty incompetent, but it's very hard for me to hold Stalingrad when the winter offensive starts. And you can see the red railway line here, all the way down to Rostov. I am building one port up in North Africa. See the Barani. I'm building one. Other than that, look at this. My entire build queue is railways. And actually, it is this single line going from Krakow, Lviv, Kiev, Dnipropetrovsk down to Rostov. That's what I'm building right now. I probably should build up towards Smolensk, but I'm not, because I can't build more rail right now. And I guess this will support my push towards Stalingrad and Saratov next year. My experience is that you can painfully slug your way around Moscow, and finally, it's very expensive, but you can juggernaut yourself into Moscow in 1941 without building up the supplies. So basically, my Rostov supply line is for 1942 that I'm building now. I have broken through with mountain troops into Kerch. Sevastopol was abandoned, as it usually is, and I reached Batumi here. So Black Sea is a Axis lake now, and oh, look at this! I'm made another pocket. That's excellent. I think I'm gonna keep him here for. And I have a, what do you call it? Pocket killing army under Sperle as usual, and he's got this little that is light infantry insignia. But anyway, this army Sperle is because he is my scavenger leader. Now, I said this before in previous series, but I mention it again because this is kind of a nice tooltip to know that I think the base capture ratio modifier is 2%. In Black Ice, it's a bit lower than in vanilla, I believe, and the 7.5% doesn't put it. It doesn't increase that to 9.5%. That would be crazy. So actually, what you do is you modify this 7.5% from the 2%. So that gives you, oh my god, like 2.3%, 2.1. So it's a very, very small increase. It's probably not worth the micromanagement. Maybe on a very large pocket. And then another factor is the AI creates a lot of vapor divisions. The scripted just created. It doesn't build in their build system. And when you kill those divisions, they don't contain any equipment. So when you spawn 10 new Soviet tank divisions and encircle them during the winter offensive, you don't capture any tanks at all. It would be unbalanced if you did, because you would capture too much equipment. But anyways, sometimes when there's a little bit of a larger pocket, I put on a scavenger leader because I'm OCD that way. And the good news is I have broken through here. We don't see any opposition. I'm probably gonna reach Baku very, very soon, and my fuel situation is pretty fine. I'm at half stockpiles. Remember, if you watched the previous episode, I started at full fuel supply this game playthrough. So I've been doing that great. And trade-wise, so here's a weird thing. Where is the Romanian oil? It's gone. They're not embargoing me. Wait. I could buy other stuff from them, like... Where is it? Okay, is it iron ore? Oh, no. Food. Okay, I guess they're gone. But I mean... I have seen Romania, and I could trade with them other resources. Now they are gone. Let's see. So, and I also took a focus an entire month. This annoys me. That is called Found Continentale Öl, and the event popped, and I said like, okay, fine, we're gonna have nice trade circumstances with Romania now. We have 100 opinion. We'll see here. Buying equipment. Are they improving the relations with Germany? Anyways, I think I have one spy here trying to build up the trade. I don't understand why I can't buy Romanian oil. That is the point. This is new for me in this update. But I mean, it doesn't matter. If I capture Baku, I'm set for fuel. And it's good because then I can use my research for other stuff and my build queue. I don't have to build fuel refineries. I killed, even though I only have a small air force, I only had 2k. Shit, that's not what I had 2k fighters when I started the summer invasion. I'm now up to 3k because I haven't suffered a lot of losses. So actually, during the summer, I built up 1,000 fighters. That sounds implausible, but I do run like over 66 factories on fighters now. So, and with few losses. As you can see here, in Leningrad, I have a nice 2-to-1 ratio in fighting, and I lost 10 fighters to their, I don't know, 200 airplanes. So I have a very, very good attrition ratio in Russia. I have not been... Okay, Northern Italy needs some protection here from bombers. Come on, Paradox. You need to have an automated system where you say to, this is my Western Defense Force, and when you shouldn't have to micromanage this. Some fighters here, they should just go down there automatically and then exchange zones all over the place. I hate that. This is cracking my mind having to micromanage the fight, because AI can just bomb another. They could bomb a new. Well, I guess they wouldn't have any effect. Like, okay, so, but they can exchange every couple of weeks, like bomb here, and a human person can't keep up with that. Bad system. Anyways, I think the Soviet Air Force is more or less broken. And they are getting stronger. I don't know if they get scripted units, I guess. But as you can see here, we don't no longer see single division provinces. Now they have 2, 3, maybe 5 divisions in some. Look, they're even starting to build up threats. So this is the limit of my summer offensive. I'm gonna try to grab Voronezh. I'm trying to struggle across the river here because there's a supply hub here. I don't understand why it's outside Voronezh, but there you go, it is. I've been almost across many times, and they keep throwing me back, which is very annoying. Right. So, Hell is my chosen engineer with the river attack. So he's not the best leader ever, but he's my fortress buster and engineer guy. I guess model is ill. Anyways, So how happy am I about 1941 summer offensive? I'm fairly happy with it. I could have done better pushing faster and earlier versus Moscow than I did. But it's just the way the game and the mod works. My main goal was to grab Baku kind of early to rectify the fuel situation, and it seems like I'm gonna be able to do that. I'm not super happy about North Africa, of course, because sooner or later we're gonna have American scripted landings over here in the West, and I need to find resources for that. I haven't been able to clear the 2 islands or Cyprus. And with the Italian Navy out, it would be very risky to kind of land. I haven't seen the Italian AI land in Palestine. Previous updates, they would suicide, send in 10, 20 divisions into Jerusalem, into Palestine, and then they would die there. Their army would just melt away. Italy's actually doing quite fine. First off, look at their stockpiles. I gave them a shit ton of French stuff for sure, but look, they're all green. I'm not used to that. And they're basically just sitting here with 4 or 5 divisions, having actually orange supply, 4 divisions, and holding the line for me. They're not overstacking it. Is it because I've told them to stay out of Africa? Yes, I told them to stay out of Africa. Okay, that works well, because they're not pulling out entirely. They are keeping a thin skirmish line here. And they seem to have a better supply situation than the British, so they're starving, the Italians are not. So I guess defense-wise, I'm happy with the Mediterranean. Offense-wise, not so much. But there will happen a thing. UK and Russia, no matter their situation, will declare war on Iran. And if I'm ready to go, which I will be, hopefully, I will put fast exploitation troops. I will stream into Iran, and I will threaten Baghdad from the east. And then these guys might move over here, and then I capture Egypt that way. That happened quite a few games for me. So a little bit of an exploit, or whatever you want to call it. And also, I've been keeping up with Lend-Lease for my Axis miners. And there's basically no deficits. They're all in the green. I'm sending the medium anti-tanks. And I am preparing for the winter by building Arctic warfare equipment. I'm over 5k now, so that's a tip for you if you're a beginner to start preparing early with that. My garrison equipment, it is decreasing. I've been above 5k. I gave some away to some of my allies, and I also have improved to my new end suppression division. Okay, where do I show how to build it? This is what you do. This saves you a couple of % of equipment. So instead of using the single garrison template, which you do for start, you invest 125 or so army experience, and you build this 25 garrison template, and they all get affected by this military police headquarters, which gives you a 1.32, no, it gives you 1% suppression bonus. So I suppose I think the equipment gain is more than 1% this way. But obviously, this headquarters company, military police detachment, increases all these 25 line battalions. So you get when I checked my garrison equipment status, wait, that is yeah, right. It was lowered by, I think, 3,000. So it went from 24 to 21k or so, 24 to 21k. Now it's back up to 24 again, but that's because I captured a lot of parts of Russia. So I guess I'm keeping 23 in the field. I have 4k or so in the stockpile. I probably need to pick up the production of garrisons, but that's a when you invade Russia, you need to build a lot of garrisons. I'm keeping 20 factories on it. 18. Yeah, I need to pick that up. I don't want to run into 0. I have too much energy consumption, but that only affects my shipyards, and since I have too many submarines to you know, I'm sinking all their comments. It doesn't really matter that much. Stability has been going up. I've invested political power into the expensive 100 war propaganda, whatever. We fight united. So I don't have to research anything to get this up. And if you want war support, you can always waste just a little bit of political power. And a lot of these historical units, they come with a small add war support increase. So instead of using events, you can just create bad historical units. That's kind of a workaround. So long term, I think I'm doing okay this playthrough. It's not a smashing knockout victory. I'm not gonna go up to the Urals in 1941. I think that's really hard, but I have a chance. I have a shot at capturing Moscow. I've done it before, and then in 1942 you can push a little bit further. Okay, so and you know, I want to play a semi-historical war. I like having UK and USA presenting a threat, so that I have to build up the Atlantic Wall while I fight in these. I don't want to invade UK, do Sea Lion, and I don't know, invade the USA and not have a threat in the West. This is, you know, I'm doing a little bit better than historically. I guess I don't. Okay, yeah, I took Leningrad, I took Baku. Okay, so on the Eastern Front I'm doing a bit better, but I'm doing worse I didn't capture Crete. The Germans did that historically. So I have to plan for potentially a defensive war in 1943 and 1944 and falling back towards the Reich when the AI. But I never managed to play past 1943 in Black Ice because there's either been a bug or a crash or a corrupt save file, or there's been an update and I lost my current installation. So anyways, I think that's it. I have a tendency to ramble on forever. What about Japan? They haven't started doing anything. I've been sending a little bit of a lend-lease over there, so hopefully these Japanese puppets and Japan's gonna be land-wise a little bit more powerful, and I'm gonna grab some of that juicy extra army experience you gain from losing stuff that you're giving them in lend-lease. Right, see you at year's end, I suppose, or after Moscow has fallen, in the next one. Remember to support Black Ice and like and subscribe the channel to spread these after action reports of the mod, because I want more Hearts of Iron 4 players to play the mod, so that Paradox needs to make the game Hearts of Iron 4 more of a heavy, detailed, realistic historical simulation instead of some yada yada fantasy version of it that I don't like vanilla at all. I'm never gonna play it. All right, see you in the next one.